2020 and 2021 were the years when the Dream SMP was in its biggest state of popularity. It was changing the game, having thousands of fan clip channels, cosplayers, incredible works of art like look at that, and just a massive influence in internet culture. To those who don't know what the Dream SMP is, let me give you a quick explanation. It was a Minecraft survival server, which is basically an online Minecraft world that allows players to join and play together, where various content creators who will have very prosperous and long-lasting careers could play on. Originally, it was created by Dream and his friends, with the idea that it would be just a small and very short Minecraft world, but they didn't know what would happen many months later. Okay, I will admit it, I kinda was a Dream SMP enjoyer. Yeah, I said it, I admit I was watching the stream where TommyInnit and Tubbo were dueling Dream. One of the many famous things this SMP was known for was its lore. The streamers and YouTubers that played in the SMP often participated in roleplay, creating a story where politics, wars, and various plots were involved. Now, as a guy who likes to watch movies and overanalyze them, the lore wasn't that bad. I am kind of a sucker for stories where political conflicts are used, and this was just what I needed. Now, it isn't as advanced as Game of Thrones, but it was still interesting. I am not here to explain the entirety of the story though, just a YouTuber that has done a massive documentary that explains the majority of the lore. I am here to explain why this worked. Let's keep in mind that while this happened, we were stuck in a pandemic that left us needing for entertainment. Some stick to Netflix or movies, but teenagers went to Minecraft. It combined two things, plot and humor. There was a side where the lore was taken seriously, but in any other stream they will be pulling out jokes and just passing time.
You guys are one in the chat if they get to go to heaven.
Dude, when you're going into heaven and God asks if you're a partner or affiliate.
You're in the gates of heaven and he's like, what's your rep share?
The story was also very entertaining to watch and required us to watch most of the live streams to be up to date with everything. And with the pandemic that was very easy not to miss. Also, by the way the story for multiple times incorporated themes, it allowed the audience to side and be involved in the story. For example, a war or an election. To be frank, it would have been kind of a waste to not have used the audience to alter a part of the story. The story had, as I mentioned before, various plots and arcs for each streamer that it could be seen as a Netflix show. Now the Dream SMP is seen as cringy due to its interesting fan base and the many controversies it had made, but by putting aside the negative things, I think it was an innovative project. It was also a far more advanced SMP compared to others, just in about every other factor, not just the lore. The world had various buildings and items that would be categorized as iconic to the fanbase, which it is an next addition to the main lore, but it's still a nice factor they had. Going back to the lore wasn't something as mainstream as how they did it back in 2020. I am not saying people didn't roleplay in Minecraft before. There are probably weirdos doing it way before then, but a Dream SMP was the first one that actually popularized it. Heck, my friends and I wanted to make an SMP and make a half lore. It sucked. It was just us blowing each other's houses up. Another factor it had, and I think it might even be as important as the lore, or perhaps even more important, was the roster of characters. These are all the streamers and YouTubers that were in the Dream SMP. That's a lot. I believe that the people involved had more of a responsibility for its popularity than the lore, because they were all amazing at the time. A lot of them were new faces for the majority. For example, TommyInnit, who gained insane popularity during the course of the SMP, and showed how funny he was. A lot of other streamers gained popularity as well, and they all had great chemistry and dynamics, where it was so amazing that you couldn't miss a single stream.
From now on, I won't, I'm sorry, alright?
Okay, that's good, that's like a good first step.
Yeah? I can't empty the dishwasher, I'm live!
Of course, many of these streamers had to get invited by Dream himself, but it was seen back in the day that he was very careful who to allow in, mainly because he wanted to keep the server as controversy free as he could, but I think it was also to maintain the good chemistry everyone had with each other. These streamers knew what they were doing and many of them have had successful careers. I said many. Anyways, this is the end of the video. If you like what you saw, then leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. And if you didn't like it, then you can leave a like. No, wait, what? And if you didn't like it, then you can leave a dislike or something like that. Also, YouTube says that you will probably like this video of mine, so come on, click it. I dare you. Are you scared? Don't be a chicken. Anyway, see you guys later.